Japan Act 3, Kyoto. Before I start, let me pause a minute. So Kyoto and I go back a bit. I spent exactly a year in Japan in 2005, and it was an amazing time and place in my life. To be honest, I've been a little bit nervous about returning. Just worried about confronting all the ways that I've changed and all the ways maybe the country's changed. Apart from Nagasaki, where I lived, Kyoto was my favorite place. I just wondered if it would capture my heart in the same way that it did in the past. Here we go. The first thing we did was we went to Kyoto Imperial Palace, which was the imperial residence until 1868. It was really interesting to imagine Japan of the past. The thing that I liked that they did was they used these kind of human replicas to help you to imagine. Another thing that I really appreciated, the ikebana. Ikebana is the Japanese flower arrangement that they had displayed in the palace. I just love how the Japanese have such an eye for aesthetics, and you see it everywhere, from the window displays to the clothing to the food. Everything is just so perfectly arranged. It's often asymmetrical, but just perfect in its asymmetry. Next, we went to the Nishijin Silk Textile Center and saw a kimono fashion show. Some of our students bought their own kimonos. We saw a lot of people dressed up in kimono out and about in town because it's graduation season, so a lot of young people were celebrating. Next, we went to another castle, an older castle, Nijo Castle, which was the former imperial residence. The residence of the first shogun of the Edo period from 1603 until 1867. Then we went to a mall for lunch. I was actually really surprised by the prices. I remember Japan being somewhat expensive, and it could be that I've just gotten so used to Hawaii prices, but I found everything to be really reasonable, if not kind of affordable. This was my third visit to Kyoto, but my first to Fushimi Inari Taisha Shinto Shrine, which is a really popular destination. It's famous for thousands of torii gates, and at the very top is Mount Inari. Inari is the Shinto god of rice, and foxes are thought to be Inari's messenger. So besides all of the thousands of torii gates that you can wander through and explore, you also see lots and lots of foxes. Here at the shrine is a lucky stone. So what you do is you make a wish, and then you lift the stone, and if it is heavier than you expected, your wish will not come true, and if it's lighter, then your wish will.
New technique.
The next day, day 7, we went to the Arashiyama bamboo forest. I had been to this once before. We have some amazing bamboo forests on Maui, but they're extra special if you dress up in your kimono. Then we had free time in Kyoto. What some of us opted to do was climb up a hill to Iwatayama Monkey Park. So I have terrible footage of this because it was actually really kind of scary. So I've seen monkeys in the wild in the past in Thailand, and I remember them being fairly aggressive and just reaching at you and just kind of freaky. And so I wasn't actually too excited to go see these ones, but I figured I'd come all this way. So my footage is terrible because we were told not to make any eye contact, and it was just kind of, I felt like I was kind of in a horror movie where you're just, like, the suspense is building and you're just waiting for something to attack. But fortunately we got out unscathed. Around Kyoto we saw a lot of rickshaw drivers. Satomi-san had told us that the rickshaw drivers are considered very handsome, and there's a word for them in Japanese, and it's Ike-man, which means really cool man. Next up, we went to the Golden Pavilion. This was actually burned down in the 50s by a crazy monk. There's actually a really good novel written about it, which I recommend. It's a very photogenic part of Kyoto. We had free time to wander around, and we found a really great market, and had okonomiyaki for lunch, which is really well known and a popular food in this region. Finally, day 8, it was our last day. We went to the Kiyomizu-dera temple, which was really beautiful up on the hill with beautiful views. And then we ended up saying goodbye to the Canadians, and I don't know why I didn't get any footage, but there were tears. I think there are some people that are planning their next trip, and it will be to Nova Scotia. We had some free time in the Gion area, but we didn't spot any geisha. And then finally it was back to the airport and back to home. This has been an amazing journey. We all had our own experiences. We all took away our own lessons. I think it was a really powerful meaning experience for every single one of our students for various reasons. Kyoto has recaptured my heart. Japan has captured everyone's heart. And I feel very fortunate to have been part of this.